perception, because like the goal of this conversation should be to like progress, right? Do like, unless you're ladies that you don't want to fucking deal with men at all, then we should talk
Yeah,
about
we don't want to
it.
deal
But
with
if
black men at all.
I love all
What
men
I
and
said.
not black men, just not
okay,
black men.
well, is there any women here who don't want to deal with men, period, or is it just black men, or is it a mixture?
It's just black men, and we actually want non-black men's help in these corrections that you speak of.
So what are the corrections that you're looking for specifically?
Force, because that's the only thing that's gonna work.
But I mean, what are you looking for black men to arrive at? A place of understanding of like what do you want to see?
Well, me
change?
We believe that there is no hope for them. That we don't believe in changing their minds. We don't. But I'm trying not to say what I really want to say because you're on stage. But if they could not exist, hey, we wouldn't be mad at.
I think for me, I think I want the coddling culture to kind of stop. I think they get validated a little bit too much and they're not held accountable as much as white men, Hispanic men, Asian men. Like the legal system works in their benefit a little bit more than they think it does. They're seen as the ultimate, like most oppressed. And I think that coddling culture needs to stop and they need to be held accountable for their actions.
Because we live in white male patriarchy, white men set what's socially acceptable. So with you all setting what's socially acceptable, the degenerate behavior of black male culture needs to be checked, and there needs to be more, because we're no longer looking for accountability from them because they've proven that they will not take accountability. We need the men who set the culture to make them take accountability by exacting some sort of consequence for perpetrating behaviors that are not socially acceptable, because you all create the socially acceptable behavior.
A few moments later.
Hey black man, hey. Hey black man, hey.
Black man.
black man.
Sends this to a black man who needs to hear this. Okay. Black man.
So I was sitting here and I was thinking, you know, the most beautiful thing about you, we can't even see. Even if you were naked, we still cannot see it. And I want you to remember that. As always, my black man, I love you, I appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing, what's it, Friday? Weekend.
Baby, I love y'all bad. I love y'all real bad. I love y'all tough. Baby, know that you're loved.
No, when I,
let me stop it right there real quick before we get this thing started.
I'm done with life, and it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. I'm done.
Emotional damage.
Welcome back to Breakdown Friday. Joseph Ward, Professor Carl Tone Jones, Patrick Irvin, and we are watching one of the most disturbing videos we have ever come across, we have ever broken down, but we're going to break this thing down. I'm going to even run it back so we can take it a little piece by piece in this first part, because this is crazy. I think the title of this video is Awful These Black Women Consulted the Enemy to Destroy Black Men. The thumbnail is like KK Keisha. But this is a video from the Shay Sade YouTube channel, and shout out to PC for helping me find this video. We both saw this video separately, and we were in a conversation, and I was, giving him my ideas about Breakdown Friday. He was like, "Hey man, you seen the video?" I seen it. Where you find it at? He told me where to find it at, and here we are. But I thought this was very disturbing, but also something that need to be broken down, something that need to be analyzed, something that need to be looked at and thought about and brought attention to, because there's a sector of black women who we can honestly say are literally siding with the enemy, are literally holding up the system of white supremacy, or literally supporting the system of white supremacy, promoting it. Literally, this video, those women were literally pleading with this white man to get with other white men to use force to quote unquote put black men in their place, to check black men, to make us accountable for our degenerate actions because they are unhappy with what they believe the behavior of black men are. My first thing is to everybody watching, what are your thoughts about what you just heard? Because one video or and that was on Twitter. That conversation was on Twitter. They have conversations like that on Twitter all the time. That was juxtaposed with a video of black women saying, "We love you, black men." So for my viewers, what are your thoughts about the first clip, the black women petitioning the white man to use force against black men to put us in our place? And what are your thoughts about the follow-up video of the black women saying we love you, black men? As a black man watching both videos, how does that make you feel? What are your thoughts about that? Do you even believe the black women? Are you even listening to black women? If you come through hellfire of those black women, those bitter black women who represent those who are literally calling the white man on the black man to put us in our place. You got that, and then you see the black women saying, "We love you, black men." Are you even listening to that? Does that even matter? Like, do you even think it's genuine? So that's for my viewers. Get in the comments and let me know. But PC Pat, man, like, first let's go with this first part. Like, PC, you put me on this video, so I'm starting with you. Well, you ain't put me on it, but you told me where to find it, so I'm starting with you because we had a bit of a conversation about this. So I'm gonna play a little bit, and then I want your thoughts first. Let me play a little bit again so we can make sure we got what they're saying at the top of our minds.
Perception, because like the goal of this conversation should be to like progress, right? Unless you're ladies that you don't want to fucking deal with men at all, then we should talk about
we don't
that.
want to deal with black men at all.
I love all men and not black men. Just not black men.
Well, is there any women here who don't want to deal with men, period, or is it just black men, or is it a mixture?
It's just black men, and we actually want non-black men's help in these corrections that you speak of.
So what are the corrections that you're looking for specifically?
Force, because that's the only thing that's gonna work.
But I mean, what are you looking for black men to arrive at? A place of understanding of like, what do you want to see?
Well, we believe that there is no hope for them.
What are your thoughts when, excuse me, hearing something like that, PC? Like, what are your thoughts?
I'm not surprised. I don't think this type of thought process and I don't think it's uncommon. I mean, you hear it, but you don't hear it from this perspective enough. But when you talk to a lot of brothers, right? A lot of them will say their mothers started off by telling them that they were N-words and they weren't sugar honey iced tea when they were children. So their hatred and vitriol, I mean, if you don't love what came out of you, how can you ever loved what that represents?
You can't.
A lot of times people will say, well, you got to understand the traumas and this, that, and the other. Well, how come you don't hear black men talking like this? And what I mean by that is you might hear black men saying, I don't mess with black women, or, I don't date black women. But you don't ever hear black men trying to conspire with white women to take black women out. It's more so like going to their trauma. I've been treated mean. I've been disrespected. I don't want to date anybody that reminds me of my mother. Keep in mind, man, I've been doing therapy for 20 years. I've seen clients. I've had clients, young teenage clients, that refuse to date black girls because they said they're mean like their mothers. So this is not too far-fetched. This is a recent conversation,
right?
But we got a conversation from a decade ago, and even during the pandemic that was circulating, where there was a YouTube channel. We were talking about it before we got on. There was a YouTube channel where a group of black women were talking about how sexy it was and how they loved the masculine energy of white men when they, were police brutalizing black men.
Yeah. The lady said it turns her on. It make her make her waterfall.
Yeah. So, and they had on their thumbnail a picture of a tree with a girl on one side swinging and a black man hanging on the other side. That was their thumbnail. So, this is not new.
I got you.
Yeah, definitely.
Keep talking. I got you, though. I got you.
So, and if you check in the chat, I even put another joint up where
I see it down at the bottom.
Yeah, Dr. T.S. Johnson has been able to sort of form a language, because for the longest, black men didn't have a language to combat the abuse that we have taken over the years. And people say, well, the abuse from who? Well, who do y'all think it's from? Our women, or the women that are of our race in a lot of cases. So, in terms of blue, so one of the terms that he coined was blue leashing. And so I read it since it's right here. It's the act of a black woman calling law enforcement on a black man, not primarily out of fear or danger, but as a means of control, discipline, retaliation, weaponizing state power to keep him on a leash. And this is one of the, these are one of the tactics. These tactics go back to the plantation.
Mm-hmm.
These tactics go back to, the bed wench wasn't her way. And if a man is that she was dealing with at the time didn't give her way, she said, I'm gonna get that man, I'm gonna get the man on you, I'm gonna get the white man on you. This progressed to I'm gonna call the man on you.
This is the blue leash. This is what he was reading about blue leashing.
Yes. So, and a lot of the things that we talk about, and especially, when I'm on office hours, we address these things. So I know you're going to get into the other video in a second, but this is, like I said, this is not new. But I think one of the things that we have to address is the fact that so many women in the black community pretend like they don't know this happens. When you can recall being young and hearing your aunties and your grandparents, when they got a couple drinks in them in the kitchen, when all the women got in the kitchen and started talking, there were some of them in the kitchen having these conversations, but we pretend like we don't know it. And then a lot of, so, and of course, like the dude that we had the other day, well, it's a black man's fault that they feel that way. Listen, most of this stuff predates a black man's influence over black women in this country.
Tell them about the podcast with this picture. I know we can't remember the name of it, but still.
So this was the original podcast that we were talking about, where the women were talking about how it turned them on to watch a white man make a black man submit by beating him and brutalizing him as in the law, from the position of law enforcement. How they love seeing black men get executed by white men, and that they wish they could see it more often. That particular picture was their thumbnail for their podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, you got whole shows where who is it? Cynthia, what's her name?
Cynthia G.
Cynthia G. Talk about selective baby deletions after you find out that it, whether or not it's a female or a male, fetus. There's a whole movement behind that. Cynthia G had millions of followers before her channel got taken off of YouTube. I want you to keep in mind. And for those of you who don't think I know, me and Cynthia G, we used to be Facebook friends way back when she was a black nationalist. We're talking about back a dozen years ago. In fact, I just unfriended her last year because I forgot we were Facebook friends. But
is she another one of my children?
Cynthia G?
Yeah.
I hope not.
I believe so. Yeah. She was in UI. She was in UI. Yes. I think that's where we linked up. You know, everybody. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know.
Sorry, world.
Well, Pat, you might as well go on now because you done birthed this.
We blame you, Patrick.
Birth of a nation.
Sorry, world.
Yeah. But
I just left for a second to get milk. I didn't know I would be gone that long.
See, look at you.
They done felt abandoned. They daddy done went for a pack of smokes. They never showed.
Yeah,
that's awful. And I don't even smoke. That's crazy. I went and got Joe some smoke.
Some cool.
So
but go ahead.
No, I mean, I can ramble on and on, but it's really disheartening because y'all know one of the things that when you become part of the whole black nationalist Pan-African movement, the first thing we're taught is to uplift black women. Mm-hmm. And to see this is the ultimate revelation. I was once taught it's never betrayal, it's revelation. Mm-hmm. And to see the revelation of how so many feel. I mean, you think about it, how deep this goes. Kevin Samuels had a whole week-long situation, 2 weeks, because he asked one black woman, why don't you smile to black men? You have black women all over TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, giving like a laundry list of reasons as to why they don't have to and shouldn't have to smile for black men. You can't smile for the man that you say that should die and put his hands on, like lay his life on the shield to protect you, a total stranger, but you can't smile and say hi, this, that, and the other. And I even had black men that say, I told my sister not to smile at black men. I'm like, you goofy. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we see the disdain. The disdain is there. They're just actually bold enough to acknowledge what a lot of sisters feel. And this is why a lot of brothers deal with relationships that they're in. You say, damn, you ask a sister, what do you want in a man? And they 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 things, and the sisters are still unhappy. And we only can look at the celebrities because their lives are transparent. You look at the Will Smiths. You look at some of the other brothers, what was the basketball player we was talking about? The Steph Currys. You look at all these other brothers, good-looking brothers, boom, boom, boom. But then there's a whole cachet of sisters still saying, yeah, but just because they got all that don't mean that she has to like them. Damn. What else does he need? Especially when these same sisters will deal with a ratty-looking white dude. They don't have to have none of these qualities. When you look at Serena Williams only dated high-profile black men. You can walk past her husband today and not know who he is. That's how nondescript her current husband is. But the standards are different. When it comes to us, we have to be Superman. Not only Superman.
I was on mute. My bad. I forgot I was on mute. But to your point about Serena Williams and the other black women who are, when they move on to the white guys, Jeff St. James, he and Tommy Sotomayor had a 2-hour interview, and this 18-minute clip is called "Calling Out the Double Standards with Interracial Dating." But a lot of people don't like Tommy Sotomayor, but in this one he was cooking because he was telling the truth about how when black men are dealing with white women, it's a deficiency, but when black women are dealing with white men, it's a come up. But also how black women can weaponize white men against black men. And that's what this clip is showing. Like, black women have always Black women have never been a threat to the system of white supremacy by themselves, right?
Well, first of all, y'all know what to do.
Oh yeah, please hit that like button, comment, subscribe. So hold on.
Y'all been enjoying this meal this whole time. So, but not only that, they weaponize the other black men against each other.
Yeah.
They weaponize their sons.
Yeah. Yeah.
But walking around with t-shirts on, like my baby was brave. He, that man, I walked out there and I ain't like what that man said. I took my son out there and now we got the t-shirt. We let the balloons off, but my son wasn't no bump.
Right. So depending on how much time we got, I put some of this in there, or I might just have it at a clip at the end. But yes, like black women have been these black women and a lot of other black women have become allies to the system of white supremacy. And there are videos of other black women on social media calling this behavior out. So, and Shay Sade, the reason why Shay Sade made this video to expose it. So I want to play a little bit more, then we come in the pack.
That we don't believe in changing their minds. We don't, but I'm trying not to say what I really want to say because you're on stage, but if they could not exist, hey, we wouldn't be mad at.
I think for me, I want the coddling culture to kind of stop. I think they get validated a little bit too much and they're not held accountable as much as white men, Hispanic men, Asian men. Like the legal system works in their benefit a little bit more than they think it does. They're seen as the ultimate, like most oppressed. And I think that coddling culture needs to stop and they need to be held accountable for their actions.
Because we live in white male patriarchy, white men set what's socially acceptable. So with you all setting what's socially acceptable, the general.
Do you see the picture? These like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black women surrounding this white guy. This is the one that's talking. Sellouts.
But behavior of black male.
Say it again. My bad.
Look at how big that room is.
Yeah.
That Twitter space. Look at how like they're scrolling up and down. They haven't gotten to the bottom of that Twitter space, and I'm not even looking at that one. I'm looking at the sister with the with the Afro puffs. I'm looking at the ones with the locks and the braids. I'm looking at all the ones donning the native African or native black features and things of that nature. Those are the ones I'm looking at because those are the ones that hide amongst us every day, but secretly have this thing. And before some of you sisters say, not all of us, too many of you, and not enough of you are loud enough to address this. Just put it down.
Right. That's in our opinion, that's the main problem from the black women who don't participate in this behavior, who disagree with them, but they do nothing about it. And the ideologies, the behaviors, the rhetoric, it can go freely unchecked. And when black men say something about it, then of course we got a problem with black women. But it's like for all black women who say they are against it, you need to be vocal about it. You need to be denouncing these women. But yeah, hey, we play a little bit more than
culture needs to be checked, and there needs to be more because we're no longer looking for accountability from them because they've proven that they will not take accountability. We need the men who set the culture to make them take accountability by exacting some sort of consequence for perpetrating behaviors that are not socially acceptable because you all create the socially acceptable behavior.
A few moments later.
So, she ended that on basically saying white men create the socially acceptable behavior. Pat, what are your thoughts about this? These black women cowering and begging on their knees to the white man to come save them.
Oh, it put me in the mindset of Cynthia G.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting is that because I had to gather my thoughts because I go into these cold and I wasn't ready. What's interesting is that when you talk to the black women that don't participate in this, they don't believe it happens.
Right. We've had that conversation, had those conversations plenty of time with black women.
And I think that's the frustrating part, because, and we've had this conversation before, all three of us, black men have unanimously accepted, to my knowledge, like, I ain't met a black man yet that hasn't accepted that there's some bands out there. Like, bands exist.
We call them simps,
right?
All that. We denounce them on the regular.
Yeah. And we encourage women to stay away from them.
And they don't.
To not reward the behavior.
They don't.
But we don't deny their existence. It's like, oh yeah, bands exist. They do. And bands are gonna do band stuff. That's why we call them bands. So why don't you just ban the band? Why are you trying to, you know what I'm saying? Why are you trying to engage in reputable behavior and culture building and family creating and society creating behavior with a band?
You want to know why?
Emotional damage.
Right. But the challenge is, again, so, because I've seen, even lately, I've been in conversations with black women that I consider to be stand up, and you bring this up to them and they say, no, Patrick, that I ain't never seen that. I ain't never heard of that. We know that don't happen. And it's like, well, me personally, most of the men I know are not bands, most of them. And I don't really know any bands. I know one or two dudes that I've seen be accused of being a band, but I don't know personally any bands. But I still believe they exist because I have enough respect for you and your opinion and your, the presentation of what you're giving me, to not think that you're just an outright liar that would manipulate the world and narratives to get your way. Why isn't that reciprocated? Mm-hmm. That when I, as a black man, tell you that there are sinister black women out here who have a goal, a publicly stated goal of exterminating me and my sons and everybody that looks like me and my sons, why is that mythology?
When there's proof, and there's an abundance of proof.
And so even with that, like men have tried to have these conversations with the bands. Hey, bro, don't do that. They're not going to listen because y'all reward them. Matter of fact, every dude in the world knows how to get a black woman. It's not hard. That's not to say black women are easy, but it is to say it's not hard to put on that front. We know what we got to do. We got to dress a certain way. We got to look a certain way. And yeah, that might not work for every black woman. Like, and it's crazy because even having this conversation, we got to put all these caveats in to make sure. We got to plug the holes before they poke them. So we know that it's not every black woman, but we do know that it's a sizable amount where if I present a certain way, I dress a certain way, and I behave a certain way, I can get my way with a certain type of black woman. Why? But men have tried to have these conversations with women, and the conversations never go anywhere. And so this is what we run into now, where it's like they've been having these conversations. The divestiture movement ain't new. There's nothing new about it. But for whatever reason, when we bring up divestiture talking points,
what are you talking about? What is that?
Right. We might as well be telling you about the Medusa we saw last week that turned 4 dudes to stone.
But the part of that gets me is they can name every red pill dude, every band, every lame that's out there. They always talking about Myron. They're always talking about Andrew Tate. They're always talking about Kevin Sampson. I'm not putting him in the same category as them, but he was a popular name. They can name all the men that either are bands, lame, simps, not the panderers, or men that they just don't like. They can name all of them, but can never name. Like, You got women out here, and some of these women who are referring to black men as bullet bags, who are championing white men to take us off this planet. And they're loud about it. And a lot of black women like, I ain't never heard that before, but you know, all the men, you heard all the crazy stuff from all the men. How? So, I don't.
That's that to me, that's the most striking part of all of this, because then you'll have the other side of this that you're getting into where, you know, and so as a black man, how do I listen to what I just heard?
Mm-hmm.
Listen to what's about to be said,
Mm-hmm.
and reconcile the two,
Mm-hmm.
and still move forward in terms of doing what women say my role is as a man, which is to provide and protect, primarily protection, because right now they'd be like, I don't need a man to really provide for me, which is true. And all right, cool, but you still want a man to jump in front of that bullet or that train or that car or that fist or that whatever it is that's about to make your day really, really, really.
But
you
they
want me to jump in front of that.
But they fail to realize the lack of a need for provision goes both ways. Like if you choose to pick the immature, needy dude who needs you to survive, if you choose to pick him, that's your fault. But the majority of black men, they don't need women like that either. But we understand the need for our women because we need each other to survive.
Well, to that, I think like there are a few truths that need to be stated. We need each other to survive as a species.
Yep.
But as individuals, we don't. And I know women are gonna hear this and feel whatever way they want to feel. But if we were all left to our own devices and we weren't social creatures, men don't actually need women.
Right.
And I think that's the part that they're trying to catch up to. But you're not going to, because even if we did get to a state of permanent equality, or not permanent, but like equality across the board, right? Everything is equal. That's still built off the backs of men choosing not to exercise certain choices that they could exercise.
Now, I think another caveat that we have to add to this is we hear those women and it's under the guise of equality, but it's more about supremacy because those are the women who think that they should be ruling over black men. And because black men are not cooperating, they want to bring in somebody who can actually do something because they're not capable of doing it. So let's bring in, because listen to how they're talking to him and about other white men and white men are the standard of the earth and all these things. These are also women who white men are the standard for them as well. That's why they're talking about it like that.
And that's how I was going to loop it back to the video, because even in correcting black man's behavior, they still need to go to a man to do it.
But but they are not clear. They're not really clear on what needs to be corrected. And he even was like, what's a solution that can come to? And they're like, no solution. We just need you to crush them. Well,
but that's their solution.
But that's the nail in the coffin to show that it's not about equality or nothing. For those women, it's about supremacy, and for them, it's about.
I think for a good majority of women, and women can crucify me in the comments, but I do believe that for a good majority of women, it is not about equality; it's about dominance.
Mm-hmm. It's about submission, and you'll find that, especially, well-to-do women, well-to-do members of the sisterhood. They often talk about, my life is complete. I just need a man to do A, B, and C role, this, that, and the other. Well, then that man, the position you set for that man is not a place where a masculine man would fit. But in also, now going back a few weeks, like I haven't read the comments, but I know a few people were probably upset when I said that, you know, a lot of the vitriol that sisters have towards brothers is we can't give them the status of white women in the world dominated by white supremacy.
But it's the truth.
Well, you just heard it.
Yeah.
You just heard it. We can't get them to behave. We need y'all to get them to behave. And we need y'all, we need to come to the white man because there's any other. Now, if he partners with them, now it's sort of like a symbiotic relationship.
And it's as if white women have not been wiping their asses with the souls of black women for 400 years, because the idea is like, well, we're supposed to be dominated, but you also dominated by the women as well. But it's always black men are in a position of weakness. No, black people are in a submissive position, period. Because once again, white women, just as much as white men have been wiping their asses with the souls of black men since we got here, white women have been wiping their asses with the souls of black women since they got here as well. It's been equal domination for both. That's why they're begging a white man to be the force that they wish that they could be to get the control that they think that they're entitled to. So if you're so entitled to it, why you can't go get it yourselves? Because they know they're weak.
So it's, yeah, I'm ready to go into the next zone.
Yeah, but yeah, all right. So let me Don't let this play a little more.
Black man, hey. Hey, black man, hey.
Black man.
Black man.
Sends this to a black man who needs to hear this. Okay.
All right, Joe,
Black
can we
man.
skip over this? Because I'm going to be honest. That shit is aggravating the hell out of me.
Well, it's to me, it's disingenuous. And I just want to play it for a little bit because for a little aggravation, but it's disingenuous if none of the damage is not repaired. You can't just, and I know this video was put together for that, but it's a mirror of what's going on in real life. You can't go from shitting on us on one end to like, oh, we love y'all, but there's no repairing. So we're not even listening to that.
Look, it ain't even, for me, it was a trend. It's always a trend.
Oh,
they
yeah.
following
That's
the
what I'm
trend.
saying. That's what I'm
and
saying.
then on top of that, that whole little squeaky voice uptick thing, like,
yeah.
Y'all are doing that for y'all. Because ain't no man in the world ever said, I find it sexy when you talk like a person that don't have a voice.
Well, yeah. So.
Like, ain't no man in the world ever said, I love when your voice squeak and it go up a notch. Like, that's not that. The way you're delivering it lets me know that's not for us. That's for y'all. Y'all love
Hire
it
your
when y'all
full service
hear me
moving company today.
My bad.
So it's
Go
just
ahead.
that's the part that's aggravating for me, is because it's disingenuous.
Well, that part.
Yeah, it is very disingenuous.
It's shallow. Because when you hear black men talking about loving black women, there's an attribute that we identify. There are things that they've accomplished that we identify. There are respect him because of that. So he's useful for what he's useful for. He's a useful tool in the bedroom. He's useful out in these streets, but he's not. She can't go anywhere because, contrary to popular belief, women want their men to be trophies. So when they go out places, they want to be able to brag about the professions their men have, the titles their men have, the accomplishments their men have. So this is why when you talk to a lot of sisters, they say they can't, the white collar sisters, I ain't talking about the ones that work, the ones we ignore that work in Walmart and work down at the local Food Mart and Dollar Tree and all those other sisters, because they ain't making six figures. We're talking about the ones that identify with success or whatever you want to call it, monetary success. When we talk about them, they can't date blue collar black men. This is why you had the whole conversation about the bus driver with that doctor, whatever her name is, with the whatever.
The lady who said she was too good for a bus driver, but she was good enough to
become a single mom,
to have a baby by herself through in vitro.
Yeah, and still like that. But
yeah,
I'm just saying. So, but this is why. That doesn't raise their standard. I mean, that doesn't elevate their status. Right. And to get back to what we talked about, it doesn't elevate their status to what they want to be the queens. Exactly. But you can't be queens if white women have been annulled by white men who, you just heard, dominate white society.
So, going back to what you said, one thing you said earlier, for those women who behave like that, think like that, walk like that, talk like that, live like that, resentment is what they carry in their hearts for black men, because they're mad that, like you just said, that black men have not elevated them over white women, and they're mad that black men have never had the power, and they've never had the power as well. And they know, because remember, these women will challenge us before they challenge white women. I'm going to say that again. These women who claim to be so strong, so powerful, have never challenged white women. They would challenge us and try to set us up for the okie doke before they even engage white women in any type of conflict or any type of battle for any type of supremacy.
But they announce it in their own little ways. Like you have the picture of a white man in a business suit racing a black woman who has all these obstacles to overcome.
Yeah.
Has the ball and chain tied to her ankle, who has barbed wire wrapped, like a barbed wire fence in front of her. Why is a woman challenging that white? Why does the black woman feel like she's the one to be in position to challenge that white man?
Well, because that's how they view us, and that's the disrespect.
But it's also like an idea of where she's trying to be.
But this video is also an example of them, whether they want to say it or not, they know that they can't physically challenge us. They know that they can't like be a real contender to black men, but they're like, well, we got the next best thing. Going back to what you were saying earlier about blue leashing, we're going to use our secret weapon, which is the white man, and we're going to unleash the white man on you, and he's going to do what he's always been doing, and that's putting you in your place. And those black women are not understanding that at the end of the day, you're not allowed in the white village either.
But the funny part is, and I think the video was going on it's been going on several years. Every once in a while, to recycle. There was a protest in Sweden, I believe it was Sweden. All the women decided they were going to call out sick one day.
Yeah.
And all the men did was laugh and joke about how the country did not lose not one iota of productivity. Joking about how human resource was saying that they didn't get any calls that day.
They said it was some of the most productive days ever.
He said, finally got some stuff done. Those are white men talking about their own women. What do you think they think about y'all?
They don't know.
And the funny, but to see, and I'm glad. Thanks for letting me ramble on this a little bit.
Get it out.
But this is what I talk. This is what we talk about when we talk about, because I don't. First and foremost, sisters watching this, hey, you're not going to try to make us defensive. You're not going to try to get us on the defensive here and try to say that we hate black women and all this other stuff. And we just showed y'all a video of white women trying to conspire with members of white women trying to conspire with members of the white community, white men.
I got you.
Black women. Black women. I'm sorry. I was on a roll. Black women conspiring with white men to take black men out.
Bring harm to black men.
No, Joe. She said to make them go away. I'm not trying to soften the blow.
Well,
they wanted us to exterminate it. And so there's no defend. No. Save your vitriol for those women and go for them.
They won't.
You know what's funny? And I normally y'all normally be the ones that do this. I'm gonna do this. I even challenged Crimson Cure on her show one time when I asked her, how come y'all never stand up to these hyenas, as she announces it and calls it? And the one thing she said was, she didn't have a good enough definition. Is she said basically because they'll be isolated. Now I can't speak verbatim, but I would love to hear her talk about it again, because I was a huge supporter of y'all. Know I used to share Kendra stuff in the group all the time, but there's no one like. Shout out to Shay Sade. The fact that we can name the sisters that challenge this should be enough. And I know now we have a lot of black women jumping on the next trend now. Now they're all of a sudden pro-black men this and pro-black men this, and now they're calling out. Where were y'all at when we needed y'all?
What you mean by the pro-black men stuff? What you mean?
No. There's a lot of women on like catching on to the trend of TikTok and all these other places. Now they're calling out the behaviors of black women. Where were y'all at when Shahrazad Ali needed y'all in 1990?
Oh, like what a name, Van Zandt.
But right. Somebody make your life right, get your life right. So or fix your life. So
but remember when Shahrazad Ali first dropped the book, she was one of the main ones speaking against Shahrazad.
They brought her up to speak against Shahrazad Ali.
Yep.
You wouldn't even know who she was if it wasn't for Shahrazad Ali, because Phil Donahue wouldn't fished her out to challenge Shahrazad Ali. So when this was in 1990, like it didn't. You know the funny thing about this, right? Because when we talk about this and how things come full circle, it didn't become a gender war until black men started identifying being mistreated by black women.
Say it again.
It didn't become a gender war until black men identified being mistreated by black women. Prior to that, it was status quo for us to take the abuse. What did they say, Pat? They thought that we should just take it.
Shut up and take it.
We should just shut up and take it, because that's what black men typically did. Shut up and took it. And died at an early age because he couldn't unleash his tongue.
Well, and let me ask this, because if we're gonna call out the one speaking forward now, what would we like black women to be doing?
No. It's not that I'm calling. Maybe when it's not a trend. So this doesn't. Maybe let's do it when we can't try to go viral on something and get paid off these social media channels. Write articles about it. Do actual studies on it. When white women wanted to clean up the image of white men, they did that. They put up monuments. They took over texting factories. They created libraries. We talk about it. You read The Daughters of Dixie. They talk about it. How they reclaimed the image of the Southern white gentleman. He became the Southern white gentleman, not the old raggedy scallywag of the South and his ragged dungarees, and bad English and bad talking, straw in his mouth ass white man. No, he became the gentleman of the South, the distinguished gentleman of the South. valiant in nature and things of that nature. They created that image. It's time create that image for black men instead of trying to just say black men should honor black women.
Ask that question again, Pat. I didn't hear the second part of that.
No, I was just asking what would we like them to be doing? That's all. Because I and PC answered it clearly and perfectly, because we were talking about now you have black women trying to call it out, and it sounded like we were going at them, but PC, he clarified like, no, it's not that you calling it out, is that you're doing it while it's a trend, which is kind of what I was speaking to.
Yeah,
about
I love you
trend.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, and that's what I wanted to really hit on. So, alley oop completed, because I do like I've had conversations with women ad nauseum about this. We all know what's coming. Like, we know the women that are going to push back, and we know how they're going to push back. And so it's just like, all right, let's take as much of that off the table. And I ain't going to stop nothing. They still going to do what they do. But is the answer for it now. So, because somebody would hear that earlier and be like, well, we damned if we don't say nothing, and now we damned if we do say something too.
Put some serious investment into it. Don't just do something that's easy that comes to you by the seat of your pants. But you know what? When I said to y'all 10 years ago, I came to both of y'all. Y'all probably were the two first people I came to when I had this whole I don't know, this whole, like, the light bulb went off in my head about changing the language that black people use so that we're not consistently reacting to everything. When we came up with the concept of the Independence Day Project film, that was 3.5 years of labor. You brothers helped. You brothers shot your own videos, helped me with the editing concepts and ideas, but 3.5 years. And then I almost quit on it. Y'all remember the conversations? I almost quit.
Mm-hmm.
But the investment was because we needed to change the language. We needed to create a vision so that black people would understand what an independent black community, free of white supremacy, looked like, because we couldn't get there. Every time we tried to have the conversation with black people about this, about creating this, the first stumbling block was creating black women to cooperate with us for the project, because they said, if we can't get black men the way we want them, then we'll burn the community down. We'd rather see it burnt down. They literally said that to us personally.
The way we want them.
Yes. Didn't you just see what they said?
Yeah. But I do want to highlight that that's what was said. The way we want them. Yeah. That ain't white supremacist talk. I don't know what it is.
And then to go back to his point of why he called me out after that other thing he said, is because, we've been in I've been in direct conversations with several women now that have been like, I feel like black men are just supposed to shut up and take it.
Yeah.
but also when it's followed up with when we are straight disrespected on by black women, and then it comes back with, hey, black men, we love you, the trendy stuff. Like, stop with the trends. Like, we need to see, if we want us to take you serious, and that it has to be consistent actions by the majority of the women, and not just being reactive or being trendy when something goes around. Or also, if you're going to be silent the majority of time when black women are doing this, and you all are acting like it don't happen, no pushback, no nothing, no separation, no nothing.
They downplay it.
Right.
And that's the worst part, because they make it's like, to see both of those videos.
Right.
Somebody's taking a metal pipe or a baseball bat and smacking you in the back of your head. And when you're on the ground, they sing you a lullaby. Hush, little baby, don't you cry. I'm just gonna buy you. You know what I mean?
Kill them white men, but we love you. Kill them white men, but we love you.
No. I'm talking about literally feeling like somebody's hitting you with a baseball bat, and then you hear somebody on the other side of the street singing a chorus, a lightly mellowed chorus about loving you.
Hey,
but you're
man.
not stopping the ones that's posturing and harming me. And the answer to the question, you hurt me, black women. You hurt me. Don't ask the question of who hurt me. You hurt me.
I can't even say that they want the white men inside of them, because of course that's evident that they want the white men inside of them. But remember, these are those women who do that. Remember, you will never replace white women, and white women still gonna wipe their asses with your souls.
I'm not even worried about trying to convince them of that part. But I want to go back to what I just said, because I really need them to understand this, because this is typically sort of like, this is the deflection we typically get, the who hurt you. And then we typically shy away from it. But no, you hurt me. And you hurt me every single time where I see that you would want me to risk my life for you. And I have risked my life for black women on several occasions. I have interrupted black women getting their asses whooped by men for which they vouched for. I have stepped in situations where black women felt threatened and been their shield. And I have never been betrayed by more people in this world than black women. So you hurt me. Now, do I still have love and affection for black women? Yes, because I have some affectionate and loving black women in my life. But that doesn't change the fact that these scars on me came from you. And it's up to you to address the ones that continuously line up the whips, line up the sticks, to offer lashes upon me just because they have resentment because I can't make them what they want to be.
It's their fault for trying to be something that you ain't gonna never be. And that's your fault. That's your fault for not being physically capable to take it. That's what it is in the world. But we get it. You're gonna if you can't beat them, join them. It's that mentality. So that Franz Fanon talked about mentalities like that. Carter G. Woodson talks about mentalities like that. Amos Wilson talks about it. Francis Cress Wilson talks about it. Sellouts, coons, sambos, whatever you want to call them, they are all those things, and they still never be accepted by the white society. But we get it. They are mercenaries, but more so pets and areas, whatever you want to call them. Mix the two words together. But yeah.